On an unbearably hot afternoon in Dubai, the golden sun radiated over the city, painting it with a scorching, dazzling glow. In the midst of this blistering furnace, Sarah, a courageous and vivacious young Brazilian, crossed paths with Edward, a British gentleman of elegant demeanor and an air of mystery. When their gazes met, a spark seemed to come to life, foretelling the beginning of a journey that would change their lives forever. Sarah, hailing from a humble family in the Brazilian countryside, ventured out into the world in search of a better future. Her parents, accustomed to a difficult life in the arid hinterlands of the Northeast, had few prospects, but Sarah dared to dream big and found her way to Dubai, determined to forge a destiny different from that of her ancestors. Edward, on the other hand, was a cultured and refined man, yet notably reserved. He guarded the details of his personal life with care, shrouding himself in a veil of mystery that made him even more fascinating in Sarah's eyes. After their magical encounter beneath Dubai's scorching sun, Sarah and Edward decided to nurture the flame that had ignited between them. International messages and calls bridged the distance between them, traversing oceans. Day by day, their souls intertwined more deeply as they shared dreams, hopes, and secrets. The vast distance between Dubai and London seemed insurmountable, like an ocean separating them. However, the love blossoming between them made them question whether it was a predestined reunion of soulmates. A romantic atmosphere enveloped each day, turning each moment into a chapter of a modern fairy tale. Meanwhile, Edward's mysterious story began to slowly unravel. It turned out that he was actually a secret agent of MI6 who had come to Dubai to investigate an international arms trafficking network. His encounter with Sarah had been pure coincidence, but destiny seemed to have united them in the midst of a dangerous mission. As the two grew closer, Sarah inadvertently became entangled in the web of mysteries. Edward feared for her safety but couldn't abandon her. Together, they joined forces on an adrenaline-filled journey to dismantle the gang and prove that true love could overcome any obstacle. Sarah worked tirelessly, saving every possible penny and facing financial challenges, all to make her dream of reuniting with Edward in London come true. With great determination, she finally embarked on her first trip to England. The days in London were like a fairy tale for the passionate couple. Every moment together was precious, filled with affection and promises of eternal love. Together, they began to envision the future, planning their next meeting, which would take place in Dubai. However, during her stay in London, Sarah began to notice something strange in Edward's behavior. He avoided talking about his personal life and kept his family a secret. When Sarah returned to Dubai, her heart overflowed with happiness at being reunited with her beloved, but suspicion gnawed at her mind. Sarah would depart again in 2 months, this time to welcome Edward in Dubai. In the meantime, endless video calls eased the longing, though anxiety only grew with each passing day. The long-awaited reunion finally arrived. Sarah and Edward had unforgettable moments in Dubai, making the most of every second together. It was then that Edward confessed to having recently lost his job and was facing serious financial difficulties, limiting his ability to provide the life Sarah deserved. Sensible and understanding, Sarah didn't hesitate to share the expenses, as her greatest desire was simply to be with the man she loved. However, Edward's secrets began to weigh on the relationship. One night, when she unexpectedly returned home, Sarah stumbled upon a shocking scene. Edward was whispering with a group of dangerous men, exchanging bags full of cash. When confronted, Edward revealed that he was a double agent for MI6, involved in a secret mission to dismantle a terrorist organization. Shocked, Sarah found herself in the midst of a dangerous web of espionage and corruption. Her passion for Edward compelled her to support him in this mission, even at the risk of her life. Together, they devised a daring plan to expose the truth and prove their love. With each twist and turn, the tension escalated, pushing them to the brink of danger. Despite all the revelations, one question still haunted Sarah: why had Edward never introduced her to his family? Her persistent questions finally led him to make a surprising marriage proposal. The gesture caught Sarah completely off guard, but her love for Edward was overwhelming, and she accepted wholeheartedly. When Edward returned to London, he called Sarah in a grave and anxious tone. He urged her to check her mailbox, where she found a stunning diamond ring, a one-way ticket to London, and an enigmatic note: "Leave everything and come live with me. I'll explain better here." Sarah was confused and hesitant. How could Edward have bought that expensive ring if he was unemployed? How would they survive together in London? Doubts plagued her, but the desire for answers pushed her forward. She managed to get 2 days off and flew to London with a heavy heart. Upon seeing her at the airport, Edward couldn't hold back his tears. Sarah's presence was the proof he needed to share his secret. He took her to a cafe and, with a sincere gaze, revealed that he was incredibly wealthy, owning properties and businesses around the world. He had hidden this out of fear of gold diggers. The revelation was a shock to Sarah. Feeling deceived, she questioned the authenticity of their relationship. Her sacrifices and splitting of expenses seemed in vain. A painful argument ensued, with tears and accusations, until Sarah returned the ring and left shattered, leaving Edward devastated. Back in Brazil, Sarah fell into a deep depression. Her confidence was shattered, and the future looked bleak. However, her love for Edward had not died. After much reflection, she concluded that while he had been wrong to hide the truth, his intentions had been to protect her. Gathering courage, she returned to London to rekindle the flame with Edward. But upon arriving at his mansion, she discovered that Edward had been kidnapped by criminals interested in his fortune. Sarah panicked but would not give up on the man she loved. With the help of the police, she embarked on a frantic search, full of twists and dangers. In the end, she managed to rescue Edward after an adrenaline-filled confrontation. Their relationship had collapsed, leaving Edward devastated, helplessly watching the woman he loved depart. Sarah returned to Dubai with a broken heart, deeply hurt by Edward's unfounded suspicion. She clung to the pride of her humble family background, her character, and honesty, which had been wounded. Months dragged on as both carried their sorrow like a burden. However, after a painful separation, Sarah and Edward finally reunited in Dubai, responding to his persistent pleas. Recognizing Edward's insecurities and fears, Sarah, after intense reflection and suffering, decided to forgive him. She realized that their love was genuine, and Edward also carried his own fears. Sarah and Edward spent months working together to rebuild their relationship, now based on trust and mutual understanding. She met his family, discovering the details of the life he had kept secret. As the seasons passed, their bonds grew stronger, and they finally moved into a house in London. This journey full of twists and turns served as a lesson for both. Sarah learned the importance of communication and empathy, while Edward understood that sharing fears and secrets was crucial. Their love became a force capable of overcoming challenges. They learned that even in the most difficult situations, forgiveness and understanding can pave the way for a bright future. Today, Sarah and Edward live together in London, building a life of love, trust, and joy that has overcome the shadows of the past, turning into a tale of lasting and unwavering love. However, when everything seemed perfect, Edward began to act suspiciously again. Sarah caught him in secret meetings and making mysterious calls. Fearing that history was about to repeat itself, she confronted him in tears, demanding to know the truth. Edward, serious, revealed that he was planning a special surprise for her and asked her to trust him. With her heart in her hands, Sarah decided to give Edward another chance, hoping that this time there would be no more secrets between them.